Hi, this is Brad Linder with Little Puting, and I'm here again with the GPD Win Max, taking a look at another video game. This time it's Steep, which is, yet again, a game I'm not particularly good at, but I just wanted to show you a little bit about performance. So you can see we've got CPU, GPU memory, and frame rates up here in the corner. You can keep an eye on those as we play. The fan's already going in pretty loudly right now. I'm going to unmute it so you can hear the music. We're at about 50% volume, 50% screen brightness, and unlike some games, this one is pretty graphically intense, so the frame rates can skip below 20% at times, but for the most part, they're in the 20 to 30 range at the default settings, which are sort of the high graphics options. And I think that makes it pretty playable, particularly by people who are better at this style of game than I am. Okay, I think I got distracted and forgot where I was, though, so I'm going to start this run over. Alright, we're actually nearing the checkpoint, but I'm actually going to restart this so I can show you what happens if we do go in and adjust the graphic settings a little bit. So in that case, we were getting, like I said, probably between 20 and 30 frames per second. But that was with the default graphics settings, which are set to high. If we switch to low, let's see what happens. Well, it doesn't make me any better a player. But the frame rates do top out at a little bit over 30 frames per second now. Let's try this run again. Almost made it to the finish line that time. Although we missed a checkpoint, so... Anyways, so this time you can see it's still in the 20s a lot of the time, but the frame rates can get above 30 frames per second from time to time. Let's see what happens if we go the other direction and try Ultra. This is probably a really bad idea. Oh yeah, we're at 12 frames per second. Okay, I would call that borderline unplayable. It looks a little bit more like stop motion animation. So I would not recommend that. But the main reason I wanted to show this is it is a more graphically intense game, and it's playable, I think. It's just not necessarily going to be the best looking game if you wanted to try to go for those sort of max options. But at the default high settings, or even at the lower or medium settings, I think it's smooth enough for a decent gaming experience. So that's a quick look at... I don't think I saved that. So that's a quick look at Steep, which is a game for racing and skiing and sort of other winter sports. With some pretty attractive graphics overall, I would say.
Sure are firing on all cylinders right now.
So here's a different mountain, for instance.
Feel that? This is the limit.
So here we're getting around 30 frames per second. And, you know, fairly realistic effects when I wipe out like that. Anyways, clearly I barely know what I'm doing with this game, but I wanted to show you a little bit of a different sort of game than some of the others that we've been looking at in previous videos. So you can find more details by following Lilliputian on YouTube for other gaming videos, more details about the GPD Win Max and its keyboard, touchpad, controllers, and overall experience. It's an interesting little device that you can use for a bunch of different things, including gaming, but also productivity and other applications, although I think gaming is really sort of its forte. Goes up for pre-order through a crowdfunding campaign set to begin on May 18th, 2020, with pricing set at $7.79, and it'll be available to ship after that campaign ends in around June. So, this is Brad Linder with Lilliputian, demonstrating Steep on the GPD Win Max handheld gaming PC.